we're going to start off with Genio, which is formerly Glean. So some of you may know Glean, but they're now named Genio. And Pete is going to present introducing Genio Present, uh, the latest innovation from the creators of Genio Notes, formerly Glean. And Pete, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to put the timer on, and you can, whoops, let me get the timer set to the right amount of time. And as soon as I go, you can share screen and start. Thanks, and welcome.
Excellent. So thanks very much, David. So yeah, Pete from Genio, which, as was mentioned, yeah, formerly Glean. So we rebranded back in June. And as part of that rebrand, we also launched a completely new product, which is Genio Present. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. So Genio Present is a structured rehearsal tool. And the goal really is to help you to become a more confident and competent communicator. So I think delivering a presentation, public speaking, can be quite a daunting process for anyone. But then when you consider people that, maybe have anxiety or autism or something like that, then it can feel almost impossible. So what Genio Present allows you to do is it effectively provides a safe space where you can rehearse and practice your content without the pressure of a live audience. And so I think if I just go straight into how it actually works then. So this is Genio Present, and I click New Rehearsal. And so the first thing that I see here is I've got a couple of options to select some goals. And we kind of take quite a holistic view in terms of how to use Genio Present, in that you can use it all the way through from perhaps initially ideating your content, figuring out what's the right flow, so there's kind of a cohesive narrative through your content, all the way through to actually refining your delivery and practicing the presentation itself. And so you can select as many of these as you want, or you don't need to select any. And I can give it a name. So what I would recommend, the concept really is that this should be an iterative process, so that you're rehearsing and refining your content as you go, and so that each rehearsal is effectively better than the last one. That's ideally what you'd want to see, right? And so if you include the date or maybe even some version numbering here to kind of keep track of how you're going. And now the other thing is to set a timer, because whether you're using this in education, whether you're using this in the workplace, perhaps you have to do a lot of presentations for work, it's pretty common that there's going to be a time limit, as I've got today. And so set my time limit, turn my camera on. And again, when you're delivering a presentation, it's pretty common that perhaps you have a slide deck or some sort of resource that goes along as part of your presentation. So that's where I can select my screen capture, and you can share. So in this case, I've got some Google Slides, but you could share your entire screen if perhaps you had a PDF or PowerPoint slides or something like that. And that just takes me into my slide deck. If I just go back into Genio Present quickly, and then I hit start recording. So now I can see that my timer's going down and the record button has changed into a pause icon. So if I just press that now, obviously the timer's stopped, it's stopped recording, and I can hit resume. And that's helpful. So if you're perhaps in the initial phases of getting your content down, just kind of perhaps practicing, maybe your mind completely goes blank, you've got the option there to hit pause and get going again. So again, reiterates that really this is supposed to be just a safe environment for you to be able to practice. And so what I would then do at that point is, timer's going down, I would go back to my slides and I would actually deliver my presentation as if it was the real thing. Now, of course, I don't have to go through my entire presentation from start to finish every time. There might be a certain section that I'm working on. Perhaps it's a longer presentation, 30 minutes or an hour or something like that. In that case, of course, I could break it up into sections and I could just rehearse that particular section that I'm working on at that moment in time. And so if I just go back into Genio Present now, I've finished my rehearsal. I hit the stop recording button. And so the first thing that pops up is this self-assessment, effectively. How well do I think that this rehearsal has gone? And as I mentioned before, the idea is that really this should be an iterative process. So we want to ideally see the scores kind of creeping up as we continue to rehearse and get more confident with our content. So I've given it a score, and now it's automatically creating the transcript, and I can see the full recording here. Now, just for the sake of time, I'll jump over to a demo that we've already got ready. So this is my colleague Helena, who some of you might actually be familiar with. So here she is actually kind of running through the presentation. And so you'll notice in the transcript itself, each line of the transcript is clickable. So as I click through the transcript, it's jumping through to that particular part in the recording. And so the first way to use Genio Present once I've done my initial recording is to leave myself some notes. So perhaps I might put here, use less ums. I'm going through, slow down here. So I'm giving myself some pointers in terms of, right, these are things that I think maybe I could do a little bit better for next time. And at the start, we selected some goals. I can see them here. And so if I just expand this one, we've got a question here. Was I able to speak without reading the slides or relying too much on notes or prompts? And so that question just helps me when I'm doing my own kind of self-reflection in terms of, helping me to think about how well I've done. Is there anything that maybe I need to improve on? And there's some guidance that supports this as well. And just a quick note on here where it says about relying on notes or prompts. So Genio Present isn't there to replace sort of speaker notes or cue cards or something like that. They definitely have some value. The issue is potentially when they become over-reliant on speaker notes and prompts and things like that. And so with Genio Present, because you're rehearsing your content multiple times, you really, really deeply understand the content. And so worst case scenario, perhaps there's a technical issue and you lose access to your slides, so you don't have your speaker notes. Maybe you leave your cue cards at home, something like that. Well, because you've gone through this process, it's not going to have as much of an impact, right? And it reduces the reliance on things like that. So that's the first way of getting some points to improve upon. And so the next thing here, because obviously it wouldn't be a modern software tool if it didn't use AI in some capacity. So this is where AI comes in with Genio Present. So this, once you go into insights, you'll click generate and it will give you these insights. So first of all, we've got a summary. So Helena gave a warm and approachable presentation. Well done, Helena. And then if we go through here, each of these particular focus points, confidence in delivery, it's broken down into two areas. So we've got the strengths, identifying what they've done well, but also growth areas to improve upon. And I think it's important that we recognize the strengths and what you've done well as well, because, of course, constructive criticism is helpful, but it's also useful to have some kind of encouragement and identifying what you've actually done well, in addition to just the bits that you can improve upon. And so, again, using the insights, this can also then feed back into your notes. It helps with that self-reflection process of how well have I done? Is there areas that perhaps I could improve upon? And so from there, the next thing that I can do is generate a share link. And this is really, really helpful because you can share this with anyone. So important to note, you do not need a Genio Present license to be able to provide feedback. So here I can choose to add a name, or I can remain anonymous, depends how scathing I want to be in my feedback. But the interface itself looks exactly the same. So I go through here, I leave my feedback. Again, can be positive as well. And that's it. So if I just go back over to my Genio Present, you'll see I've now got this feedback tab as well. So if I open that, just refresh quickly, and I can see the feedback that I've received. Identified by the name. So if you share this with multiple people, could be a mentor, a tutor, a classmate, maybe a colleague if you're using it in the workplace. And again, it's clickable, so I can jump straight back to that particular moment where they have left the feedback. And one very, very new thing, in fact, I think this actually got launched today, is the dark mode feature as well. So hopefully you can see that by providing your own notes, you've got goals to help you, AI insights as well, to help you with that self-reflection. All of that feeds into this iterative process of kind of improving my presentation each time. So in terms of how to actually get your hands on Genio Present, so it is available through all of our North American resellers, or alternatively, you can send us a PO, a purchase order, and very, very shortly, it is going to be available directly on our website as well. And one thing I just very, very quickly wanted to show you is our Assessors Toolkit page on our website. So on this page, you have an explainer video for Genio Present and Genio Notes, actually. You've got a more in-depth 30-minute training video, as well as a whole bunch of additional resources for both of our products as well. So a product features guide, a complete features list. But the thing that I wanted to draw your attention to here is the free demo account or demonstrator account. And what that is for anyone who actually helps students, or could be employees again if it's in the workplace, in choosing assistive technology. So if you need to actually be able to demonstrate the tool to other people, then you can fill in this form and get access to a completely free copy of Genio Notes or Genio Present, or both, in order to be able to help providing those demonstrations. And there's no time limit on this. It's not a free trial as such. It's just a completely free version of the software. So yeah, very briefly, it's a very intuitive tool. It's it's very sort of simple to use, but I think hopefully this is shown by the process of kind of going through your content. You've got multiple ways of receiving feedback. Like I say, the goal really is taking pressure off and making that presentation feel a little bit less insurmountable, and kind of boosting your confidence to be able to kind of deliver a confident presentation. So that's it for Genio Present.